Expectations and pressure are two things that go hand in hand, just like peanut butter and bread. When you are acknowledged around the world as someone who puts out a quality product every time, people will expect the impossible from you. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, David Fincher, these are some of the greatest names in their respective fields, but the reason behind them being such recognizable icons is not because of their vision alone. These people have talented staff working for them who make sure that their vision and innovative ideas are presented flawlessly. However, in the manga industry, that is not the case. In the world of manga, it's the predator gobbling up every other creator until they are satisfied, or you can just be Oda. Bringing original ideas and drawing them on a piece of paper is a hard job for one person, and continuing to do the same thing over and over again can be exhausting. But Naoki Urasawa is the type of person who just doesn't give a rat's ass about any of these things. Monster wasn't at the top of my watch list. It definitely held my interest to a certain extent, but my brain was always fixated on these other stories which were built upon fresh concepts and worlds. So, what happened when I finally finished Monster? Let's talk about it. Monster starts off on a thunderous note. Dr. Kenzo Tenma has just finished his surgery on the famous opera singer Rosenbach, but in exchange he had to give up on an average man who was injured at a construction site. Our protagonist is immediately sent into a crisis where his ideology differs from his social circle. So when a similar situation arises, Dr. Tenma stands his ground and takes complete responsibility of a child over the town's mayor. But this choice leads him to an unfortunate downfall in society. However, when the hospital director mysteriously dies, his position is restored without any questions asked. 9 years pass and now Dr. Tenma comes face to face with the child he had operated on, Johann Liebert, a monster who is feared and recognized by many. This monster has spread havoc, and now it is up to Dr. Tenma of all people to embark on a quest in pursuit to make amends with his past decision by bringing Johann's life to an end. Even on a surface level, Monster doesn't seem like a revenge story. It is something much more complicated than that, and there is a lot of reasoning and context needed for the build-up to the end from the very beginning. I have never read any other manga published by Naoki Urasawa, but by watching Monster I have understood one small part of his storytelling techniques, which is his representation. Every successful mystery thriller story has a representation of a certain theme. Take the movie Seven as an example. The entire focus of the series of murders is based upon the 7 deadliest sins, and even though the movie is just 2 hours long, it conveys its point to the audience perfectly by maintaining a great level of empathy for the characters. Urasawa, on the other hand, works in a different way. This story is absolutely nuts when it comes down to its pacing. The first 10 episodes will make you fasten your seatbelt for an epic roller coaster ride, but then the entire focus is shifted and a new story is built up to be connected to the previous events. It can be very tedious and boring for many people to be consistently introduced to new characters, but at the same time this is one of the biggest charms of Urasawa's storytelling. Urasawa wants you to get to know these characters as individuals. Your overall emotions towards them are subjective, and I think he very well knew that not everyone will see eye to eye when it comes to the characters. Monster has a story which has no consistency with its pacing but is very high quality in terms of content. Urasawa's art isn't anything particularly special, but I think it's very unique to the point where you can recognize his series. There are obvious similarities to the overall designs, but it's the utilization of the small details which sets everyone apart. No one looks like Tenma, no one looks like Raihuain. Some kids look like Dieter, but no one looks like Lunge. The sound design of this anime is just straight up fire. Madhouse did an incredible job overall when it came to building up the tension behind the mystery. Some scenes will have these creepy and haunting tracks, while some will have no music whatsoever, and it will be entirely reliant on the details like the footsteps or the rain. The tone of Monster stays dark and gritty for most of the time. It very strategically captures the attention of the viewer in every layer of the story. Some may drop the series very early, but I can guarantee you that they will eventually return to give this series series another chance. This story definitely has those few moments where you can take a moment to appreciate the good times, but when shit hits the fan, it just might blow the entire roof off of the place. Even though some may come to despise the overall pacing of this anime, I think at the same time they will admit that when the stars begin to align and when Naoki Urasawa reveals his grand plan, in that moment, Monster truly becomes untouchable.